You will fall in love with me. You will take me away from this place.
Full disclosure, news and commentary number 117. 117. One, she's only 17. Don't cancel me for that. It's a song lyric. So it's okay. She's only 17. I hope you are well. I still have a show report to do. Things came up today. I ended up being super busy, and that's a good thing for me. Making that money, get invited to shows. It's wild. It's wild. Let's do this unboxing before I forget. Again, I don't think I say this enough. Thank you to the people who send me stuff. It is so delightful. It's such a great thing that's happened. When you think about that we're at full disclosure 117, how many freaking things have I gotten? It's truly... no letter with it? I don't know. All right. I'm going to let you see it the same time I see it. Oh, I see it's a green shirt. That's awesome. 1, 2, 3. Somebody got me a shirt for Maneater, or had it made, maybe. That's the logo of that video game that I finished in one thing. Dude, that's so badass. Tomorrow I start my next video game quest, playing Adventure, the old Atari game Adventure, and telling you about the world record I'm going to set with it. Dude, this is so... Oh, that's so badass. I'm gonna wear that starting tomorrow, so I don't want to mess it up now. That is so cool. Whoever sent that to me, I suspect it's one of my Twitch followers. Frickin' cool as hell. Oh my god. So great. Well, don't cover your notes, dummy. Cool. Oh my god. Dude, why bury the lead? Look at this shit.
Jump! Jump! Oh, shit!
Holy fucking hell. That's Lazer, Booker of Larietto. I mean, this thing has made the rounds, as it's going to. Apparently, a hip popped out of place. They got that back in, but he cracked his femur. I saw a bunch of stories out there, but Larry reported the truth like he always fucking does. What do I think of this spot? It's fucking dumb as fuck. It's just fucking dumb. There's so many aspects of it that are stupid. Obviously, it was something that they had not worked out. The only thing that was worse than him hitting the floor is if he had fucking jumped out far enough for them to catch him. I don't think they understand the kind of momentum he would have come down with. That would have been just classic through their arm stuff, or worse, hitting them, fracturing people's face. It was an ill-advised, stupid fucking spot. Period. End of fucking story. People want to blame the referee for not holding the ladder correct. You know what? Did they ever work this shit out? Did he ever try climbing to the top of that motherfucker with somebody holding it? Had they worked any of that out? Let me fucking ask you, Magic 8 Ball. Was that shit just a bad idea that they didn't fucking practice or rehearse or anything? It is certain. Thank you, fucking Magic 8 Ball, who is 100% in predictions on this damn show, and even said that Jake Paul was going to beat Ben Askren. God damn, Magic 8 Ball. I should have asked you if I should have bought Dogecoin. Anyway, I'm glad you're not fucking dead, Lazer. Jesus. Fucking dumb shit. Speaking of Larietto, so they had a few shows. The one that Larry attended drew about 300 in the KLT building. Way less than they drew last time. And it sounded like a shitty show. Simon Sermon was great with Luke Gallows. He got a match out of Luke Gallows, so that's great. But the main where Rich Swann's barely wrestling, and they didn't turn it into a 6-man. They just kind of ended it, and some masked guy took a fucking move. It sounded like shit. Sounded like the kind of show if I went to, I'd have been pissed off. The shows that I did watch, I was far from pissed off. The ICW, the frickin' Pit Fighter 7 that I did a report of and a video about. Super great. Tank was amazing. And then Tank going from wrestling John Wayne Murdoch to wrestling Casanova Valentine, picking up his first win in ICW. Fucking awesome. Sounds like they had a great old time. 4 big shows, 1 on Friday, 2 on Saturday, 1 more on Sunday night. Big, huge weekend there in Jersey. That's awesome. Another show that I went to. And by the way, so many reports up. Rob's going to have 3. Larry's got 2. Bro. And Larry did Pro South. I put up my ICW one. And I'm going to get this one written for Pro Wrestling Action is the name of the group. Their show is called Heroes and Villains. It was their first show. 350 people for their debut show, folks. 350 people packed into that space. People want to front. People want to bitch. People want to say shit. Daniel Mac Shaw, who's a ring announcer in the Florida area, put that show on. Had a number of people. Super cool. It was great seeing Shalance Royal, excuse me. Meeting Layla Gray. Getting to see the Rapture before they come and do the IWE show on July 17th. Really, really cool stuff. Really, really exciting. Where am I going this week? July 2nd, Friday, I've done a first. Georgia Wrestling History, the website. I used GWH to get an actual press pass for an event. It's called Rev, vroom, 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 because it's like a car and truck show as part of this. This is the biggest white trashiest show ever, and I had to be there. So Rev, white, and brew. Because there's beers, barbecue. Gary Lamb would be all about this, right? Truck and car show, Aerosmith cover band, fireworks, and pro wrestling from a group called Brawl. Not to be confused with the wrestling show, the improv show that centered around wrestling called Brawl. So I got a press pass because I said, I'm representing Georgia Wrestling History and I'll do a preview video and I'll come cover the wrestling part of the event and all that stuff. So I'm going to that show on the 2nd. Then the 4th is No Peace Underground here in Orlando. I'm going to that. And then one of the wrestlers I was the most impressed by is part of Championship Wrestling from Florida. It's called like Relaunch or Redux or Remix or whatever. So they're using the Championship Wrestling from Florida banner. And they're doing a show in Tampa. I'm going to be there. And there's going to be people like Kevin Sullivan, one of Malenko's kids. Ike. What? So I was invited to that. So I'm going to that. And then I got a bunch of other stuff coming up, man. This is wild. It's wild. That's July 9th. July 7th, I'm going to be in Miami, Papi. Ay, Papi. For AEW Dynamite. First one that they've had in a long time. That's not going to be at Daly's Place. It's going to be in Miami with the hot crowd. It's going to be awesome. So your boy's getting around. Like your mom in high school. Getting around. Woo! What else is going down? Georgia Championship Wrestling had a show. They didn't give a crowd number, so I'll say 50 people were there. If you don't like me giving you those kind of crowd numbers, then fucking tell me how many people were there, assholes. The picture of Gary Lamb with Ricard Ortiz of freaking Mucha Lucha was awesome. They're apparently going to do some kind of joint venture together. I have no idea what it's going to be. I think people who are trying to guess are probably wrong. Maybe it is Mucha Lucha doing a thing near Canton where Gary Lamb like run that town. Who knows what it's going to be, but it should be pretty fantastic. Rickard is one of the few people that I think Gary Lamb really respects. I see Gary Lamb likes their posts and stuff. I think Gary Lamb really respects them. I mean, how can you not respect a guy who drew 1,200 at a premium ticket price? So that got Gary Lamb's attention for sure. But Gary Lamb is that promoter, and you could do worse than hooking up with him. So I'll be curious to see what they do. Hopefully something comes about that works. I was sorry to see that Gary Lamb's fight promotion was delayed yet again. Hopefully they can get that going. That would be nice. And by the way, Gary Lamb in that picture, way to dress up, motherfucker. He's wearing slides. Did you just get out of fucking prison or something? Jesus Christ, Gary. Get it together. Get it together. Pro South's big show, Power to the People, packed again. Good deal, O'Neal. Southern Violence and Wrestling, only their second time running in this particular venue, drew 170. Keep on keeping on. Anarchy, drawing 150, which for a non-big time show for them is huge. That's great. Holy moly. And I was struck by, normally I don't talk about individual matches. But one, I think Joe Black is going to wrestle there, which I think is really cool. But then the second thing is Nick Halen and Naja doing match 2 of their best of 7. And they're going to do this best of 7 in 3 different promotions. PCW, Anarchy, and Pro South. What the fuck? How cool is that? So much cool shit going on, folks. You understand that? How cool is that shit? GIPW had a show. I didn't hear anything about it except for 2 things. One, the Stranglehold guys showed up early to help them set up. Way to be desperate, Stranglehold. I'm feeling you. And, to Eric Nelson, what's up? See, I can't even fucking get my ears out like he's got them because I actually still have my fucking hair, even though I'm almost 50 years old. Because I'm gorgeous. GIPW, though, I can't wait to hear about that show. I saw, too, I am going to be in Georgia on July 17th. And GIPW is running the next day. Much as I want to go to that show, motherfuck, man. All this time away from home, it's tough. Action, 160 plus 20 comps. I'm going to call it 180 because that's what it is. Good to have them back. Without the charity tie-in piece, they still drew 180. That's good news for them. I'm sure they were very thrilled about that. APW for one of their big shows of the year, 113. Nice. And I don't know what Pro Wrestling Circuit drew. I looked at the pictures. Looked like a nice size crowd. I will say that. And, yeah. What else is going down? Oh, we talked about Lazer almost fucking dying. Speaking of GIPW, apparently the people from Sports Illustrated are there because they're doing a story on fucking Skrilla. And it's coming out tomorrow. And part of it was seeing him at GIPW. So good for GIPW, double good for Skrilla. Boy, the people who are making it fucking happen are making it fucking happen. And it is nice to see. Dude, this is a great time in Georgia wrestling. I don't know who the fuck is trying to argue that point. But this is a great time in Georgia wrestling. I wanted to turn your attention to an article. I will link it below. Let me write down the link to make sure I link it below. It's called How I Liberated My College Classroom. And it's talking about including multiple voices and viewpoints in a classroom setting. But I think it's worth people reading because this whole thing of being completely intolerant of other people's ideas is complete bullshit. And I think the way that this teacher set up their classroom with this idea of allowing people to express ideas and, more importantly, explore ideas and have discussions without immediately fucking canceling people and fucking being closed off is exactly what academics should do. And it's how academia should be. And more importantly, it's how we should all be. And I was really taken with this article, which at first, in the context where I saw it, it was a comment on somebody's Facebook page where they're like, here's a counterpoint. And I thought it was like this thing of like, oh, woe is the conservative male and wah, wah, wah. But instead, I found it to be really, really good and really smart, and I agreed with a lot of it. I'm linking it below, and I think a lot of people can read it because I see people really getting caught in this little boxed up, narrow fucking thinking, and that's some bullshit. That's some bullshit. People should allow to be express some fucking ideas. Just because one side used to fucking close off one side doesn't mean we have to swing the pendulum completely the other way. I am just of the mind you want people to be fucking educated about some shit. I know most people are fucking dumb, and they're certainly dumber than me. Doesn't mean that I'm not always going to be an advocate for let's create some spaces in wrestling. Wrestling used to be a space, by the way, where you could be different. That's why wrestling once was the haven of the gay athlete for decades. We just had the first person in the NFL come out, folks. 2020 fucking 2021. In wrestling, gay guys had worked fucking behind the scenes as, badly kept secrets for decades. So there's a lot about wrestling that's great. And I would hate the thought of, we need to run out people who think this way, blah, blah, blah. Certain things, okay. Yeah, we don't want pedophiles. Don't worry, I'm going to talk about Victory Championship Wrestling. But, we of course, the obvious shit. But this idea that you can't have contrary ideas. This idea that the only way people can express each other is at the top of their fucking lungs. And it's all about tribing up and fucking kicking this guy out. I ain't about it. So take a look at that article if you would. It's one of those articles that makes you feel smarter, or at least get your mind working. I'm going to take a look. People have sent me, because of the thing that I said about talking about Gary Lamb getting mixed up with Tiny and One-Legged Bitch and all that shit. Somebody was like, have you ever seen any of the matches from the original Recipe show? I had not. And so somebody sent me one. So I'm going to review that bitch tomorrow. And I'll see for myself, the argument of, well, the fans like it. I always hate that fucking argument. I'm going to watch that match. And if that match fucking blows, I'm going to tell you it blows. I'm going to tell you it blows goats. And I ain't talking about the greatest of all time. I'm going to tell you. So I'm taking a look at that fucking thing tomorrow. Let me write that down. I got Raw on in the background. And last week's show was better than it has been in a while. But this show, it appears to be going to shit again. We shall see, though. We shall see. Whoa, I covered all that shit already. Look at me. Oh, we're going to talk about Victory Championship Wrestling. So they put out this thing. This badly written fucking monstrosity. Let me take a look at it. Take a look at my girlfriend. She's the only one I got. All right, so this is from JC Arena, a.k.a. whatever the fuck his name is. It comes up late. Rick Hayes. Yep. Victory Championship Wrestling is no more. God damn it. He didn't cap the right fucking things. Johnny Slaughter is now out of the wrestling business. I have purchased the promotion outright. Outright. This is not a cover-up or a scam. I own the promotion outright now. God damn it. Come on, Alabama. Do better. I will be changing the name, but keeping the location. Any wrestlers who would like a booking can contact me. Rick Hayes. And there's his phone number. Oddly spaced, but his phone number nonetheless. I look forward to working with any and all promotions and wrestlers. I hope we can keep everything on a professional level with no accusations or anything towards me. I am just a buyer trying to run a business. If there is, I promise you it will be settled in court. I hate to be a jerk, but I just want to make sure everyone understands I did this. I seen a way to better myself in the wrestling industry. What the fuck was that sentence? Jumping Jesus on a pogo stick. I will read that sentence as written again. I had taken a bigger breath this time. If there is, I promise you it will be settled in court. I hate to be a jerk. I just want to make sure everyone understands I did this because I seen a way to better myself in the wrestling industry. God bless everyone and let's have fun. The fuck? All right, so Victory Championship, who's bought by the guys who run Bad Boy Wrestling, if that isn't one of the shittiest fucking names forever. I mean, I know they ain't going nowhere. They ain't going nowhere. They got a shitty name. They are Bad Boy for life. Fucking horrible. That's something. I'm not gonna say that's not something. But here is something as well. Wipe that down. All right. So I forgot to save these pictures, so it's a good excuse to do it now. So, if Johnny Slaughter's not involved with it, hey, great, right? Guy bought it, apparently renamed it Spartan Wrestling. Because, yes, if you don't want to invoke the idea of older men having sex with underage people, you want to call it Spartan Wrestling, because God knows that never happened in fucking Sparta. You know that old joke, how do you separate the men from the boys in Sparta? With a crowbar and a fucking fire hose, I would imagine. If you don't get that joke, well, then you didn't hang out with my friends growing up. Here's the Spartan Wrestling thing. Popo. Hey, look at that. Right? Sure. Spartan Wrestling, sports promoter. Ooh, look at it. Look at it. Cool. I see they're just going to keep the school going under that. And apparently SpartanProWrestling.com. All right. Here's the problem. This is so ridiculous. Who invited this person to like this page for the new promotion? Ladarius Young, Spartan Wrestling, and Johnny Slaughter. So you want to disavow that Johnny Slaughter has anything to do with this promotion and that he's out of the wrestling business, yet he's one of the people inviting people to fucking like Spartan Wrestling. Folks, so fucking dumb. Oh my fucking God. And then this one. Oh, Classy shitty name. Classy McDiva. What does she have to say about it? The promoter for Bad Boy Wrestling has purchased and taken over operations at the Gadsden Wrestling Arena. If you would like to inquire about bookings, please contact him on Messenger, JC Arena Rick Hayes. Please make sure you provide a wrestling resume with who trained you, how long you've been in the business, some of your signature moves and finishes, a list of matches and who you worked, good work references from other promoters. Well, this isn't too much. Your availability and clear pictures, headshot, gear shots, a couple of action shots. If you have a video on YouTube, make sure you provide links. You must be licensed through the Alabama Athletic Commission in order to work with this promoter. The applications are available at bloom and cost $30. They will need to be renewed every December. Rick is still in the process of renaming and rebranding the events. The new company name will not be running under the Bad Boy banner, and I haven't found out what it will be yet. It's Spartan. And is still getting the website up and running. He is also getting the cards together with his match caller. Watch for an event announcement soon for the next show at the Gadsden Mall Arena. So there it is, folks. We jumping Jesus on a pogo stick. Okay. Can I give them the benefit of the doubt that, they're gonna that Johnny Slaughter's not involved? I guess. Does it look bad that that he's one of the people asking people to like the new site? Yes. Now, anybody who wants to say, well, he's just trying to be helpful. Yeah, that's not helping. You're not helping, bro. What a fucking kumquat that guy is. What a numbnut. Jumping Jesus on a fucking pogo stick. My God, man. All right. So that's done. It is what it is. Are we ready, merciful gods, for the commentary? Let me make sure, because often I've missed like one thing and it's driven me crazy. Said I was going to look at the original recipe match. Yes, commentary. This one shouldn't take too long. Famous last words. Here's our commentary. Let me make sure this camera's still running, because I'll be mighty pissed if it's not. It is. Dewdrops Wrestling. Under that spelling, urban slang for lesbian. Oh, WWE, you're so hip. Or you didn't know. Guess which one I'm voting for. Whoop! There, that cleaned it off. Good. All right, commentary. Wrestling self-esteem problem. I saw a thing, I think it was David Milan posted this thing of like, he's going to have like the shoot fighty kind of thing. And he's like 99% of, keep in mind he wants to be in the pro wrestling business, right? But he goes 99% of indie guys are just want to be fake tough guys. And Huckabee, always talks about these guys are not really tough guys and tough guys this, and guys can't really fight. And I saw Tyler Culprit put up a thing. Oh, if you can't really MMA fight, maybe you shouldn't do that gimmick. And what? Okay. First of all, fuck all y'all. Fuck all y'all. And fuck all y'all. This notion that you have to be, where is this fucking coming from? Wrestling has always been this way, though, right? From the days where you were expected to fight, if somebody challenged you about wrestling being fake, you're supposed to fight them and all this kind of shit. And now the modern thing of like, I really take jujitsu and I really do this and I really do that. All right, let me break this down for you. Wrestling is fake fighting in your underwear. And it's performance-based. Is it physical? Sure. Does it take athletic prowess? Absolutely. Is it fucking real? It is not. It is not a competitive event under any stretch of the imagination. Does it mean that people don't get hurt? And I'll say this, I've said this before and I'll say it again, and hopefully I can help kill this notion. When people get hurt because they fuck up, Lazer, you don't get to say, because Lazer fell off a fucking ladder doing a dumb fucking spot and fucking broke his leg and popped his hip out of joint, that wrestling suddenly is real because his injury was real. His injury was real, all right. Real fucking stupid. And citing when people fuck up as proof that wrestling is real is one of the most asinine fucking things I've ever heard of. And I wish wrestling people would stop doing it. Wrestling, if you feel the need to explain it, trust me, I've been fucking doing this shit almost 30 years. Let me say that again, almost 30 years. Have people ever called into question? Yes. In fact, I need to do a Patreon story about the time that I got into a legitimate fight outside of the improv show about pro wrestling. That's how fucking dumb and twisted I was that I felt the need to it really was a guy that was just not going to let up. And I felt backed into a corner. But that old mentality kicked in. Fuck, if this guy backs me down in front of all these people, then I'm fucking letting the pro wrestling business down. So I understand. And so what happens? Me as a grown-up has to get in a fucking fight with a guy and headbutt him to fucking beat him in a fucking fight as a grown-up with a master's degree who has children. So I get the mentality. I get the tough guy thing. But we got to be better. And we got to change the way we think. All right? Do we just continually... What's the bitch and moan? That guys aren't legitimately tough enough? If you go to a wrestling ring and you fucking bump around and do your shit, you're tough to some degree. Can a lot of the guys actually fight? No. Can a lot of the guys really throw a punch? No. Can a lot of guys, I love that saying, at every point in a man's life, every guy thinks he can rap and every guy thinks he can fight. So fucking true. But wrestling has got to get over this low self-esteem thing that it has always had. If you can't be proud to be a pro wrestler in this day and age, when pro wrestling needs the individual wrestlers more than it ever has, when wrestlers are getting a voice in a way that they never have or haven't in years, right? Guess what? The old way of thinking, the old guys, the Jim Cornettes and the rest of their ilk, they're fucking dying off, and their influence is less than it has ever been. This is a young man's game. It always has been, but never have so many young people had a voice and an avenue to be heard. And that's a great thing. So what's not going to do all of us a favor in the wrestling business, if this fucking thing about who is tougher than whom continues to come up. Let me put my cred up here. I'm fucking tough enough. Fucking boxed. Did all kinds of shit. I was taught pro wrestling by being taught how to fucking fight and then being told, don't do it that hard. Okay? And then when I worked in Colorado in that stiff-ass fucking ring, I mean, we were in the fucking late 90s, right? Everything was fucking doing crazy fucking stunts. I don't know how many times me and Ryan did fucking table spots. How many tables did I go through? How many times did I fall off a balcony? How many times did a guy hit me in the head with a fucking 2x4 as hard as he could? How many unprotected chair shots did I take to the fucking head? Too many. Why? To prove some legitimacy of a thing that isn't legitimate? It's fucking stupid. So, forgive me if I don't fall under this, guys don't really know how to fucking fight. Well, good, because they went to the right place. Because pro wrestling isn't the place where guys really fight each other. And if that is happening, then you fucked up. Does that mean the guys aren't tough? Anybody want to tell me that those fucking deathmatch guys aren't tough? Fucking people try to argue to me, you put over these deathmatch guys, they ain't fucking tough. Fuck your mother. Yeah, they are. And guess what? If you're in the pro wrestling business, chances are you're tough as well. Doesn't mean you're the toughest. Pro wrestling has to come to grips with this part of the self-esteem as well. There is nothing that pro wrestling does that is the EST of anything. It is not the greatest. It is not the most athletic. That would go to other sports. There is not an athlete in pro wrestling that can match up with the top level athletes of any of the major sports or any of the Olympians that you're going to see in the next month or so. There just aren't. Even the greatest pro wrestling athletes aren't trained the same way, aren't built the same way, aren't conditioned the same way, or just on a natural, fundamental genetic level, chances are they are not the same as a world-class athlete. Oh, fucking well. Does that bother you? It shouldn't. It just is. Doesn't mean that you can't be a fucking great performer. Doesn't mean that you can't be a great fucking storyteller. In fact, you should try to do all of those things. Pro wrestling doesn't tell the best stories. Those happen all over the place. Those happen everywhere from television, which the writing has gotten better and better and better. Even movies, which have gotten worse and worse and worse. Still, even the terrible movies I watch, I would fucking prefer over Raw as far as just the writing and the storytelling and the cognitive shit and connecting things. They still do it way better than Raw. But that doesn't mean pro wrestling is fucking terrible, because it's not the fucking greatest of anything. Because there are a number of people for whom it is their favorite form of fucking leisure and entertainment and distraction. And that is great. I was in a building, Tuffy's bar, right? 350 people who were pulling for that fucking show. And that show is structured in such a way that people were super fucking happy. And a little over 2 hours later, it was done. And people were fucking excited and ready to come back in 2 months and do it all over again. And that's fucking wonderful. And I shouldn't have to look at the wrestlers and go, that guy's not legitimately tough. Is there something to the notion of, I want a fucking wrestler that looks like he could kick ass? Yes. I get that. But at the same time, what does that mean? Not the same as it used to. It used to be heavyweight boxing was the one that mattered, right? Now with MMA, we understand smaller guys fucking kick ass. You know how much Conor McGregor weighs? He's fucking lighter than most of the guys certainly the guys working in fucking WWE, but he's lighter than just about all of them in AEW and even most indie guys. Are you telling me Conor McGregor's not tough? And of course, he's got swag. And that's the advantage that wrestling has as well. Wrestling, when done right, the wrestlers can still have way more fucking swag than just about anybody because it is physical. And yet, it's performative. And there's a beauty there when you're walking that white path between the fucking river of fire and the fucking drowning waters. If you can walk that fucking path of being proficient physically and all that entails, as well as having that performative piece, then you're something special indeed. And if wrestling has got to get over this thing of, we need fucking tough guys. Now, it works in a Dan promo when he's talking about Tank retired because he thought there were no tough guys, but John Wayne Murdoch is tough and blah, 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 blah. And it's fucking awesome. But if everybody was John Wayne Murdoch, this shit wouldn't work. Right? You need diversity. You need difference. You need interest. You need shit all over the place, especially in this day and age. How's Ring of Honor? Most of you don't fucking know. Because even if it was really great, most of you aren't fucking watching it. Because there's this idea of, it's just not interesting. It doesn't matter if their guys can fucking go with anybody. It doesn't matter how athletic their guys are and if some of them are legitimate tough guys. You don't care because at the end of the day, it's something much more intangible than that. And until wrestling addresses that, the complexity and the nuance of the fact that there's all kinds of shit going on and there's room for all different kinds of shows. Folks, when I fucking was one of those guys trumpeting, this deathmatch thing is fucking catching and it's going to continue to it's going to influence pro wrestling as a whole more than pro wrestling as a whole is going to fucking get rid of deathmatch. Was I right or was I right? And part of the appeal of deathmatch is they prove themselves in the most obvious ways possible. Gonna hit you with this shit and everybody's gonna see you bleed and everybody's gonna know the fucking shit hurts. That's the length that they go to prove that they're tough. But at the end of the day, is that the same as fucking grappling in a combat sport? Of course not. Of course not. Are marathon runners tough? Well, yeah, in a way, Steve. Yeah, in a way. So what I propose is this. Is pro wrestling in so many ways. And as somebody who fucking boxed, fucking played basketball often, and I'm not going to say at a high level. I don't think I was ever that good. But certainly at a higher level than fucking most everybody else that I knew. Pro wrestling was the toughest. There's something about taking a fall where the only point is to take as little damage as possible, but you're still going to get damaged. That's an act of somebody who is tough. Doing things that are deliberately going to put you in pain and not avoiding them for the sake of an act is tough. When I took a bump onto fucking thumbtacks for an improv comedy show that centered around pro wrestling, somebody wants to tell me that wasn't tough. Okay. But it's something that normal people can't do. And pro wrestling has always thrived when people would look at that ring and go, I am not like that. That's what makes that special. Now, in this day and age where the guys are smaller, like I said, I mean, my running joke is, my God, can I walk into a locker room, or even that show yesterday, which was a highly successful show, and I loved it. I'm going to finish that report, but I'm looking at those dudes going like, I'm fucking taller than almost everybody on this fucking card. I'm 6 feet tall, which when I wrestled in my heyday was considered too small because I was 6 foot 240. Think about that. Now I would be the fucking heavyweight champion. Right? But back then, too fucking small, Steve. Too fucking small. So standards have changed. And instead of worrying about who's legitimate tough guy and guys going, I'm really tough and I'm a real fighter. You know what? I got to say, most of the guys who always flex this like, man, I'm a real fighter and everybody else is fake, have been some of the biggest assholes that I know. Not Huckabee. I'm talking about guys from when I ran PCW and before. All the guys that wanted to do my gimmick is I'm a shoot fighter. I'm a real fighter. And so what the fuck are the rest of us doing, right? Was the question. And it was a legitimate question. Nobody can tell me that pro wrestlers who go in there and get their ass beat aren't tough. The problem isn't that guys aren't tough enough. The problem is guys aren't smart enough. Once people get that piece, once people get the knowledge piece, and once people start getting over this petty fucking flexing thing that people with small minds do, talking about toughness in a fucking performative activity, instead going, who can do this in the best way possible? How can we fucking get these crowds bigger? How can we get these crowds more hyped? How can you and I work a program that gives us that thrill when you've taken people on that emotional fucking ride? None of that has to do with whether you can really throw a punch or not. Or whether you can really fucking pull somebody into your guard and do a Google Plata. Whether you have cauliflowered ears. This shows, even in the like early 2000s, I knew motherfuckers that would take pliers and crush up the cartilage in their ears so that way the blood could pool and calcify and they could get cauliflowered ears because they knew that that was the instant symbol of I'm a fucking tough guy. Is there a bigger fucking mark fucking thing than that? The answer is no. So why do we metaphorically do that and demand that people crush up their fucking ears to prove their fucking toughness in a shit that is purely performative? You can't answer that. And if you can, I guess you're smarter than me, so you don't need to listen to me at all. But if you can't answer that, then just trust me on this one. Toughness is here. You're in pro wrestling, you made it through training, you made it through shows, and you fucking beating your fucking body up. You were tough enough for this shit. When we name shows like Tough Enough, that's a lie. It's not whether you're tough enough. I hate trainers that are like, yeah, you don't think wrestling's tough? Well, I'm going to make you do fucking 500 Hindu squats. Motherfucker can make anybody do CrossFit fucking calisthenic bullshit until they're worn out. That has nothing to do with it. The fucking true toughness for the people who are willing to do this wrestling shit, who have been trained, etc., etc. The toughness is here. Can you figure out how to fucking lose, but still get over more? That takes a tough mentality. Learn to win the fucking war up here and quit worrying about the fucking bogus, braggadocious bullshit of this. Because from what I can see, most of you who are flexing about how you're able to do this still keep your thumb on the inside of your fingers. So take your thumbs out and allow me to share these fingers up. Fuck you and your demand for tough guy bullshit. Show me the guy that's got it up here, and then I'll see the guy who I actually respect. And the women. This has been Full Disclosure.